Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful morning today, September 24th, 2024. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. Our focus of our 501c3 nonprofit is to build business financial literacy. Business. What is it that entrepreneurs, that small business owners need to know to be able to have a fundable business? Because I can tell you, and I think you would agree, our school system doesn't really do a very good job of teaching people how to create jobs. They want to teach our kids how to go get a job, but not how to be the job creator, how to create community, stronger tax bases. So we're focused on building business financial literacy and then linking that to what individuals would need to know to be able to qualify for funding, because it takes money. For most businesses, it's going to take money to start to grow to reach their potential. All right, so for a while now, we've been focusing on teaching a workshop curriculum, and we've been doing that in a live format, and that's going well. But we had a number of requests, and so we gave in. And so as of today, we are launching the on-demand version of the workshop. So what does that mean? So it's the same curriculum, and it's a two-page document here you're welcome to have. The first page describes it, and I can come back to it in a moment. But of the four modules, instead of people needing to register and then wait for their workshop to start, and instead of waiting each week to go through the curriculum, we're going to provide them on-demand access. So let's zoom in on this a bit, and let's go ahead and go through this document. And this is something that can be co-branded with you, because I think even if clients are ready to go right into the fee-based 4-week funding program, which is obviously where you monetize your involvement, this education's going to really help them understand the what, the why, the how. So I think this should be a nice complement even to those clients that are directly enrolling. But let's just read through this, and then we can discuss it. Have you ever had an idea that you thought might make a great business? Well, you're not alone. Some of the best, most successful companies started with an idea just like that, coupled with the drive, passion, and expertise of a brave entrepreneur. Starting a successful venture from scratch requires navigating through a number of challenges, whether they be legal or economic considerations, and also requires the mastery of certain controlling functions independent of a great idea. So let's start there. A lot of people have ideas. They have hopes and dreams and a vision, and that's great. But there's a whole set of financial principles that need to be learned and applied if their goal is to get funding. And that's really what you and I are delivering. Let's continue on. So whether faced with an accounting, finance, marketing, or management issues, successful entrepreneurs have the initiative and drive to take on all of these unique challenges and get their product or service to the market. In this course in entrepreneurship, participants will learn how responsibility and initiative are encouraged as business strategies are conceived and worked through in a promising business plan for a successful venture. Continuing on. Entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of American business. They turn great ideas and services into successful businesses every day. But starting a business and growing it to a successful enterprise, requires more than just a good idea. Owning your own business requires an adaptive, flexible, and well-rounded skill set that will ensure you're prepared to navigate through a multitude of business issues. In short, successful entrepreneurs wear every hat in their business. They're effective managers and savvy negotiators, all paired with an unmatched work ethic. So what you and I know is owning and operating a small business is not easy. It can be very, very rewarding. and in many cases, much more financially rewarding than working for someone else. But it's not easy, right? Anyone that's looking for easy probably shouldn't be looking to start a business. The Entrepreneurship Funding Program pulls together all of the education and skills necessary for success in starting your own business or just cultivating that entrepreneurial spirit necessary to start a new division in your current role working for another company. From drafting the initial business plan to financing your vision, managing your staff, the Entrepreneurship Funding Program covers everything successful entrepreneurs require to start, build, and grow their next fundable venture in just 4 weeks. Just 4 weeks. Now, since we're offering the curriculum on demand, as you can see, there's links here. We could actually theoretically do it even quicker than 4 weeks, but we'll keep with the pattern of a 4-week program. This entrepreneurship funding program was previously taught as a credit earning class at a junior college and now is available 100% online at no cost. So the background is that several of us were teaching this as full-time faculty, tenured professors, if you will, myself included. And so from there, we saw such an opportunity to not just teach college students, but to actually take it out to the broader marketplace. So we acquired or formed the nonprofit, moved the platform out of the college environment into the nonprofit, and it has been growing exponentially ever since. Each participant will have access to a current or former business college professor to help them build a fundable business. Because what's key here is to understand there are 4 modules. Those modules are very relevant. We'll talk about those in a second. But it's not just watching the video or listening to the presentation. It's learning those new skills and then applying it in their business. So we have a fundable business. So for the first time now, the certification program is available on demand so you can complete it at your own convenience. You'll start by completing the 4 modules, which are detailed below. We'll get to those in just a moment, and then scheduling a call with your funding advisor. So initially, when this was developed, the concept, which I think is probably a superior concept, is let's learn and then apply. And then a week later, let's learn and then apply that knowledge and so forth. But frankly, we see a lot of busy professionals that want to move more quickly. Therefore, we're sacrificing a little bit of the initial design to be able to meet more people's expectations. So now you can provide them a copy of this, and we'll get this out to you so you have it, and it provides them immediate access to the first 3 modules. 4th module is a little bit different. So let's go ahead and go through these. Module 1, business plan. Your business plan is the foundation of your business. It's a roadmap for how to structure, run, and grow your business. Learn about key elements of an effective plan, including your use of funds, financial projections, etc., to increase your ability to raise capital. And then there's a hyperlink there. You'll be able to click on that. And if all goes well, it will pop up a new page, which it did on my computer, but it didn't show you. But that's okay, because that page isn't shared, but it's okay. So there's a module.
Making $158,000.
Then it brings us into a commercial, unfortunately, for someone, but that's all right. So then they'll be able to access module 1. Module 2, business formation. So here we're talking about
per year, but you'd like
if we can hit that stop. There we go. That pesky commercial someone was running before our YouTube training. All right, so module 2 is business formation. So normally what we like to do is actually apply this and get their business plan put together before we go form the business. Obviously, that constraint is compromised now because they're going to be able to immediately go to module 2, but that's okay. So in module 2, we're going to create the entity. Now, if they already have an entity, that's fine, but we're going to ask them questions like, okay, so you have a current entity. When was it formed? Month and year. Is that business compliant? For instance, some people have formed a business in the past, so they consider it an aged business. Sounds really good. But when it comes down to it, they've not been filing tax returns, not compliant with state laws, and so forth. So is an older business better than a newer business? In general, yes, but only if it's been compliant. So when we applied for this grant and received the grant, it was to go from the ground up. So we do help them create a new business if they want. We talk about the relevance of well, there's really 4 steps in setting up a new business. There's having a good address, filing with Secretary of State, having your EIN, and then opening your bank account. So we teach about that in Module 2. Again, there's a hyperlink to access that on demand. Then we get to Module 3, Business Credibility. Learn what banks and lenders look for and understand different types of funding available to start or grow a business. This is where we get into the 3 C's: credit, collateral, and capacity, to help them become fundable. And again, they have on-demand access. So for those of you that want to continue to have the in-person, or the live, I shouldn't say in-person, live workshops, that's fine. We've got a bunch of those scheduled, perfectly fine. If, for instance, we have 2 workshops scheduled for today, week 1 with 2 of you, and then we had a couple yesterday as well. What happens, of course, is when people register for the live Zoom, sometimes they don't show up. Now, we have reminders that go out to them a day before, an hour before. We have our workshop coordinator that calls them, but regardless, some people don't show up. This provides a very easy way for them to have a recording so they could see what they missed. So it's fine to continue with the live. But let's get to Module 4. Module 4, business funding, and that's the real goal. And so I think a lot of people just want to go to funding. It's like, let's skip all of this. Let's get to the chase. Let's go to funding directly. But the problem is we have to have a fundable business, and everything that we're doing here is to make the business fundable. But regardless, Module 4, most businesses will need an injection of capital to start, grow, and reach its potential. We'll learn about different sources of funding, debt, equity, and earned income, and understand how startups can access funding. We also go through kind of a final checklist of, are we ready to go? Are we ready to go to funding? Not do we need money, not do we want money, but are we ready to go? This is where Madison, the workshop coordinator, gets involved. Her phone number is here. And so before, on the on-demand, before we will pull them in, allow them to have access into Module 4, they'll need to speak with Madison. So then we just kind of wrap it up. Well, just summarizing one more time why they should go through the free certification. Well, they learn how to have a fundable business and to qualify for business funding, because most people don't know this. I know you know this. We've got Gilbert, I've got Jeff, I've got Pearlie, Toby. All of you are just smacking yourself in the forehead saying, well, how is it that people don't know it? But a lot of people don't know what you know, what I know. So we need to teach them, because if we don't teach them, they're not going to know. They're not going to get funding. Secondly, there's no cost to participate, so that's not a burden. So it's needed, right? There's no cost, so we don't have to pitch them on anything. When we get the approval from our board to package this as an on-demand version, they wanted to throw an extra carrot in. So we're going to actually provide $1,000 for each participant that goes through it. So that's great news. And then ultimately, what's the real carrot? Why would people go through the certification? Probably not just because of a passive interest in learning the material, but they want funding. And that's, of course, the end goal. And then our contact information's on bottom. So who has questions about the on-demand version? So it has 2 applications to those of you who are our distribution partners. You can provide this to your prospects immediately, because some of you are working hard to set up workshops and then trying to get registered attendees and working with key influencers, and all of that's fine, but that takes some time and some effort. This is just point and shoot, right? Essentially, just provide them this and they can immediately go through the curriculum. Why would we want to take them through the curriculum? Because it's preparing them to be successful. It's important information, and it's a great way to fill your pipeline. Because once people trust what we're doing and understand the relevance of what we're doing, nearly everyone enrolls in your 4-week funding because there's tools and resources provided in that. But if they don't trust what we're doing and they don't see the relevance of what we're doing, it's much more difficult. So I'm going to ask just a few of you to type your thoughts into the Q&A. Anyone can, but Greg, if you wouldn't mind. Greg's one of our distribution partners. He just brought on his first client. Greg, can you type into the Q&A? What's your feedback of how this could be helpful in building your pipeline and getting prospects to flow through your pipeline to enroll? Terrence, you as well. I'm curious of your thoughts. And again, so those of you that want to continue to have the live Zoom-based workshops, that's perfectly fine. That allows for more interaction, and I think it's great to do it that way. When we're doing the live, we're taking them through a lesson, and then we're applying that before we go to the next lesson. Then we apply that, then we learn the next lesson. So it takes about a month to go through the live Zoom-based version, where here they could knock it out almost immediately. So looking for feedback. Mr. Barker, what are your thoughts? We have your first workshop kicking off this afternoon. Not looking to disrupt it at all, but Mr. Barker, what's your feedback on how you think you might use this on-demand version? Frederick, curious your feedback. Everyone looking for your feedback, and if it's negative, it's okay. It's just we've had a number of recommendations. One recommendation is, why don't we get everyone together and do it live? Well, guess what? You could do that now if you wanted. Let's take Corinthian. She was asking, I believe it was her, she was asking about doing it live. Great. You could get a room at a church or a library, wherever you wanted, Corinthian or the rest of you. You could introduce it using this as a script. You could play these videos, and actually in just 2 hours, you could facilitate this. So you wouldn't have to teach the curriculum. You could play the videos. Now they're still going to need to apply this with a funding advisor, but it is fine if you want to start doing some in-person sessions. It's just with the in-person, you'd have the AV equipment set up, which most chambers of commerce, most libraries, most churches have that now. And so ever since Zoom, most of these organizations have invested in AV equipment. So it makes it real simple. You could go in, you could be the facilitator, you do the opening, and then you do an introduction, you play that section, and you could even have a little bit of a discussion if you want. So you could either use this to go conduct face-to-face. You could use this as the alternative to make it the ultimately most convenient, provide them this and they can access it when they need. Or the third application, which our workshop coordinator will need to use, is if someone registers for a workshop but misses, then she'll provide this so they can get caught up on the material. So Greg says, sometimes people can't make a workshop, so this would allow them to get the education without attending the live training. Yep, that's right. That's right. So we can use this in coordination with live Zooms, and as an alternative to live Zooms, or for those of you like AJ, who's really very proactive, you could now take this and go set up a true face-to-face workshop at a church, at a library. You facilitate it, and then just simply play these segments. You facilitate it, but you can play the on-demand segments if you really want to get people in the room. That's what we did all the time before COVID. And frankly, we had almost 100% conversion, because if you get people in the room, you educate them, they're going to realize, well, they're going to have the trust and they're going to see the relevance. But that's a bigger step. Right now you have to have a room and you've got to get people into the room. But if you want to do that, this will work accordingly. Now you have the scripting to open your workshop. You have the intro to each section, and you would just make sure that you have your laptop or the host laptop connected to a projector or to a screen, and you can play these for them. So it gives you the ultimate freedom. Questions, comments, concerns? Eric says he loves it. Thank you for that. All right. So with that being said, the goal is to go help people and you make money. And some of you are doing great and some of you aren't doing so well. So we're continuing to try to innovate and strive to help you be successful, improving the financial literacy of others and monetizing it, because many of the folks that go through this, they'll see the benefits then of enrolling in your 4-week funding program that our white label partners offer. You set the pricing on that. It is a refundable deposit, but that provides the additional tools and resources above and beyond what the free education includes. So if I were you, let's take who shall I pick out here? Let's take Claude. So Claude's on today, and he's usually on. So let's say Claude has a conversation with someone, but he's not quite sure how to move them forward. Just provide them this. Claude, you could just say, hey, well, we know how to pre-qualify a client, right? Ask the question, are you looking for funding to start or grow a business? If yes, then you ask them their fundability score. We've had that in other trainings, and we've shown you how to assess each entrepreneur's fundability score on a scale of 0 to 6. After that, so I'd still start with that. And then after that, you could just, Claude, you could provide them this and say, hey, great. We have a fully grant covered on-demand workshop. It's called the Free Entrepreneurship Funding Program. There's several reasons why you should go through it. Right here are your reasons to reference. Provide them this, and then just follow up with them. Make sure that they're going through it. And that's a lot easier for those of you that are not very good closers. Some of you are great at closing. Some of you, I don't think, have ever closed a deal in your life, and it's a very big barrier for you. We're removing your need to close deals by simply referring them in to the education. All right, anything else I can do to help you today with this topic? We'll get this emailed out. Also, if you need it, you can always call us. Madison, the workshop coordinator, will normally be answering this line, and she can get it to you as well. All right. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon. Let us know what we can do to help you. Bye-bye.